Yes, apparently this cobra has absolutely no manners whatsoever. But unlike some classless youngsters spitting wherever they can, the giant spitting cobra is infinitely scarier. In part because it's not spitting saliva, but venom, and that venom goes a distance, believe me.
Unlike your Cape Cobras and Snouted Cobras, they don't stand their ground for very long.
When the giant spitting cobra decides to spray its victim, that poison can travel between 4 and 8 feet away, depending on the snake's size. That means it can be almost impossible for a potential victim to escape, and the side effects of that venom can be truly life-changing, especially since the cobra particularly likes to target the eyes. If the venom does get into the eyes, it can cause blindness. So consider this your lesson. If you happen to encounter a giant spitting cobra, you should probably already be running. Actually, that's some good general life advice. The giant spitting cobra is terrifying for a reason. Not only is it just a generally scary looking snake, but it's also very good with its venom, which is truly horrifying, and I don't think anybody in the world has any real desire to go blind. Well, not unless you've seen all the Sharknado movies. In the entire country, this is by far the largest. And they're actually kinda terrifying, which is not so much fun for those that happen to accidentally stumble upon them. The Gila monster got its name from Arizona's Gila River Basin, where it was first discovered. And honestly, it's kinda hard to miss. The Gila monster usually grow to around 20 inches long and weigh around 4 pounds. But if that's not terrifying you, how about this? These unusual lizards are one of only 2 venomous lizards in the world. That venom is typically used for defense, so suppose an unsuspecting animal wanders into its territory and frightens the Gila monster. In that case, the animal will bite down on the flesh and not let go until its venom is fully injected into the bloodstream. That's fun. According to experts, the Gila monster's venom is not actually deadly to humans in most cases. The side effects, however, can be pretty nasty. Everything from nausea to fever and high blood pressure. Sounds like a good time. Need I say more? The black widow spider is considered the most venomous spider in all of North America. It should really come as no surprise to discover that they've made it onto this list. However, according to experts, their bite isn't usually fatal to humans. Crazy, I know. The black widow is pretty famous for its ruthlessness. The female will eat just about anything that happens to get caught in the web, even if that means consuming another spider. Anything that could be conceivably eaten will be eaten. That's just the basic laws of nature, man. Still, even though a black widow bite may not actually cause death in a human, it's not exactly an experience anyone wants to pursue. In fact, if possible, I think most people would like to stay some distance away from encountering a black widow. I know I certainly would. The black widow is definitely one of the most intimidating and ruthless animals on the planet. So I guess the lesson is to avoid encountering them if you want to live. Kind of a reverse Terminator situation. If you're someone who's generally pretty freaked out by fish, you're really not going to like this one. The northern stargazer is a fish that really lives up to its name, but not by choice. It's just that, well, it has eyes on the top of its head. The stargazer's unique, top-mounted eyes are far from its most unusual feature.
Does anyone know what this is? I was looking for pippies.
This fish also has a large upward face on its head. The idea is that, when buried in the sand and waiting for prey, the fish can see the animals floating above. Of course, that doesn't make these animals any less freaky. Actually, it just makes them much weirder. But the stargazer is also relatively dangerous, with poisonous spines hiding behind their eyelids, and with some species being able to cause electric shocks. I bet you didn't expect this freaky-looking guy to also be a conductor of electricity, did ya? In some cultures, the stargazer is a delicacy. Apparently the poison isn't poisonous in these instances, although I imagine there aren't many who would jump at the chance to taste it. Having to look at it is scary enough. We could easily just populate this list entirely with crocodiles and alligators, because obviously you don't want to encounter these apex predators. I mean, we're just walking meat sacks compared to these muscular killing machines. We don't stand a chance. The saltwater croc is the largest reptile on the planet, often measuring 23 feet long and weighing over 2,200 pounds. These animals can eat just about anything that happens to walk into their path and is notorious for drowning mammals and birds. However, despite their reputation as unstoppable killers, actual incidents of humans encountering saltwater crocs are surprisingly rare. Apparently, these animals would rather avoid spending time with humans, though it will happily lash out at any clueless tourist who happens to get too close. It's believed that these predators are responsible for at least several dozen attacks every year. We should also note that the saltwater crocodile has the strongest bite in all the animal kingdom, which undoubtedly contributes to its reputation as an unstoppable beast. If you ever had the misfortune of encountering this animal, you probably wouldn't live to tell the tale, unless you were telling the other animals in their stomach, but then they'd already have experienced it. Are you afraid of turtles? Probably not, but there are some species that you probably should be afraid of, like for instance, the alligator snapping turtle, the largest species of freshwater turtle, and a surprisingly dangerous little hunter. The alligator snapping turtle can be found in rivers, lakes, canals, and swamps across the southeastern part of North America. They can reach up to 26 inches in length and up to 175 pounds in weight, so probably not one for the classroom terrarium. Their name is given to them thanks to their unique ridges on the shell's dorsal side, a feature usually found in alligators. Much like alligators, these animals don't have natural enemies, but happily spend their days hunting other prey, including worms, frogs, snakes, and crayfish. But while humans aren't necessarily on the menu, we probably don't want to get too close to these little guys. That snap could hurt. The alligator snapping turtle has been on our planet for at least 20 million years, which explains their somewhat prehistoric look. If the Flintstones were around today, this thing would probably be a pet. Yabba dabba not from me. Next topic, Wolverines. On paper, the Wolverine doesn't sound all that crazy. It's basically a weasel with sharp claws, but you'd be wrong. This is one of the most fearless animals in the world, a little critter with a serious chip on its shoulder. A quick Google will lead you to a world of videos revealing this animal's aggression and ferocity. At 4 feet tall and weighing up to 40 pounds, these are the largest members of the weasel family, and they've been known to take on animals significantly larger than themselves. For instance, bears. They love fighting bears. Chances are you didn't expect the Wolverine to be quite so feisty or terrifying as it is, but you better believe it, this animal is not afraid of, well, anything. So get used to that, bub. You may be tempted to think of the Komodo Dragon as some kind of amazing, mythical animal, but actually it's just a really big lizard, and an old lizard at that. With all that said, you should still be scared of this animal. It doesn't come to play. The Komodo Dragon is native to Indonesia, and have been known to exist for millions of years. These lizards are the largest in the world and are pretty well known for their commitment to eating. These animals are carnivores who like to eat everything from pigs to deer and fish to water buffaloes and even newly hatched Komodo dragons. In fact, these animals are so into eating that they will happily consume bones and hooves too. There's no stopping these guys. If you want some more terror, the Komodo dragon saliva is made up of over 50 different kinds of bacteria as well as venom, which means that a single bite can induce severe blood poisoning. Basically, we're saying that the Komodo dragon is not just the biggest and coolest looking lizard in the world, this is also a formidable and fearsome predator. Thankfully, most of us don't live near to their natural home. Those that do, well, you might want to take up running as a hobby. With a scorpion, you really get the worst of both worlds, biting and stinging. There's just no way to win with these guys. By far the most terrifying of all scorpions has to be the emperor scorpion, one of the largest in the world. The emperor scorpion can reach lengths of up to 7.9 inches long and weigh in at around an ounce. That weight may be relatively small for animals that we find terrifying, but their appearance has very little to do with it. Think about it like this.
Scolopendra uses all its strength to try and get under Red Claw's armor.
Adult and young emperor scorpions have two very different ways of catching their prey, and both are frankly terrifying. The youngsters prefer to rely on their stingers to immobilize and capture their food source, but the adults prefer to grab their prey with their pincers and crush them. That's two very different strategies, and both sound excruciating. I'll leave you with one more bit of nightmare fuel. Because they have such bad eyesight, the emperor scorpion is forced to rely on their tail's small hairs. These hairs capture vibrations in their environment, helping them determine where their prey may be. Good luck sleeping tonight, friends. Again, sharks are among those animals that you really don't want to encounter in the wild. But the basking shark may be one of the few that look more frightening than they truly are. Although that doesn't mean you want to encounter it, the basking shark is a filter feeder, meaning it tends to feed at the surface and take in a lot of prey all at once. That filter feeding habit is why these sharks have a hugely enlarged mouth and gill rakers, and the sheer consumption of food explains their whopping weight, anywhere between 6,600 and 13,000 pounds. However, despite their huge size and honestly terrifying appearance, humans aren't at any risk here. These animals aren't equipped to chow down on a human diver, preferring to focus their attention on plankton and other minuscule swimmers. So I guess that's some good news for us, right? According to shark experts, the basking shark can live for up to 50 years, which is an impressive lifespan for any animal. Unfortunately, it doesn't get any less scary looking during that period, which is truly unfortunate for all of us. The eye is one of those animals that nobody really knows about, but whether that's a good thing or a bad thing very much depends on your perspective. These unique primates have nothing to do with pirates, but they will definitely shiver your timbers. The eye is a nocturnal primate native to the rainforests of Madagascar. But even if you were to spend all your time in that environment, it's highly likely that you wouldn't even see one. These animals tend to live over 2,000 feet up in the air among the highest and tallest trees, which, it turns out, is kind of a blessing according to the Madagascan locals. The eye is known to predict death, so if you happen to encounter this scary-looking animal, well, your days may well be numbered. Sorry to drop the bad news. Of course, it's pretty unlikely that you'll ever encounter an eye in the wild, but if you do happen to be hanging around some 2,000 feet in the air, are your funeral arrangements taken care of? The answer better be, aye, Captain. Okay, so it's time to reveal the truth behind the false advertising. No, this is not a fox whatsoever. The black flying fox is actually a wholly unique species of bat, one of the largest species of its order, and actually the largest bat in all of Australia. With a wingspan measuring over 3 feet wide, the black flying fox is known for its almost entirely black body, which helps it camouflage in the dark and make it look truly terrifying. These bats are native to Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and Australia, and almost always inhabit coastal and near-coastal areas. They're known to gather in large colonies, which is no doubt one of the most terrifying sights known to man. Can you imagine wandering into a cave filled with dozens and dozens of 3-foot bats? Nope, getting the heck out of this hypothetical as we speak. Look, bats are not exactly the most appealing animals, even when they're average-sized, so the idea of stumbling upon an almost totally camouflaged 3-foot one is, well, truly something that will give me nightmares for a week. Thank you all for sharing in that with me. Look, the world is filled with so many animals. Not all of them can be beauty queens and works of art, right? In fact, the Marabou Stork is considered one of the ugliest animals on the entire planet. So that's a real confidence boost. Marabou Stork is also known as the Undertaker bird, thanks to its unique appearance. If seen from behind, the bird's back and wings make it appear as if it's wearing a cloak, hence looking like, well, death. With a wingspan of around 11 feet, the Marabou easily measures among the largest wingspans of any bird alive today. And since it doesn't like to expend any unnecessary energy, they're usually found just standing around. Yep, they spend hours just standing. So let's recap. The world's ugliest bird, biggest wings, often mistaken for the Undertaker.